Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga with Kelly. Today we are going to do a Vinyasa Flow, and that means we're going to do a little bit of seated meditation. We're going to get up and do some sun salutations, add in some standing poses, cool down with some seated poses, and then take a nice Shavasana. So turn on your favorite tunes. It could be something, whatever resonates with you, just to have on in the background, or you may prefer just to have a little bit of silence in your life. It is all good. There are no wrong answers here. This is your space. This is your practice. So unroll your mat and we will begin in this seated posture, this Sukhasana easy pose. Just letting your hands rest on your knees. And if you're have less hip mobility and the knees are up, you could always grab a block and put it underneath your knee. Sometimes that feels good just to elevate them. And just close your eyes. Bring yourself into this space. Notice the rhythm of your breath, not forcing anything. Just tuning in, noticing the coolness of your breath on your inhale, the warmth of your breath on your exhale. And on your next inhale, reach your arms up high to the sky. Gently dropping your right hand beside you, reaching your left arm over, just taking a nice lateral stretch. You could slide your right hand out a little further for a deeper stretch, but make sure you're keeping contact with both sits bones, keeping that left hip on the ground. We remain grounded as we're stretching. And then inhale the arms up. And we'll do that on the other side. So dropping the left hand beside you and not behind you, that's adding a twist. We'll do that later. Just slide the hand out to the side, reaching your right arm up and over. We're working towards straightening the arms. The more you can straighten the arm, the deeper the stretch you'll get through the side body, allowing for more expansion and contraction through the rib cage. Letting those intercostal muscles between the ribs get a nice stretch. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Now we'll take a twist, dropping the right hand behind you, taking your left hand across the knee, turning your head towards your shoulder behind you, using your arm behind you like a second spine to help you sit up on the inhale, really getting the benefit of the twist on the exhale. Then bringing everything up through center and doing that on the other side. Right, so now we do want the hand behind us. Great. Sitting up tall, allowing the twist on the exhale. And then come back through center, reaching the arms up overhead, and then just release them down to your side. I'm going to remove the blocks for now and get a nice little neck stretch. I'm going to bring the chin towards the chest, but we're not like dropping the head and rounding the back. We're keeping the spine nice and long. So feeling the stretch to the cervical spine, the neck. And then gently bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. Bring the chin back down through the chest, keeping the spine long. And then bring the left ear over towards the left shoulder. Bringing the chin back towards the chest and coming through neutral. All right, let's take that a little bit more intensely, reaching the arms up. Drop the right hand beside you, placing the left hand on the right ear and starting to draw the left ear towards the left shoulder. You're going to feel this stretch through the side of the right neck. That's good. If you feel something, stay there. If you feel pain, get out of it. If you want more intensity, walk the fingertips a little further away. Bring the head through neutral. Reach the left hand down to the earth. Try that on the other side, reaching your right arm up, right, placing on the left ear. And as you're drawing it towards the right shoulder, you're not letting the right shoulder ride up. Just feel that nice stretch through here. We walk the fingertips a little further away. We're not pushing on the head, just applying a little gentle pressure. Just taking the ease off the tech neck we may have from sitting at the computer or looking at our phone. It's all good. Bring your head back through center. Release the hand down. Let's move towards a tabletop pose. So coming onto your hands and knees. Bringing the wrists under the shoulders, the knees under the hips. Spreading the fingers nice and wide. And on an inhale, you're going to tilt your tailbone and gaze up. A nice stretch in the spine. And then on an exhale, tuck the chin, tucking the tailbone under, really rounding out the back. Inhaling, arching into your cow pose. Exhale, rounding into cat. Now we're starting to place the breath with our movement in the vinyasa practice. So inhale, arching. Exhale, rounding. Even breathing a little deeper now, inviting the ujjayi pranayama. And coming into a neutral spine. It's that place between arching and rounding where the spine is really long. You're going to curl your toes and just hover the knees a few inches off the mat to engage the core and to notice where you're distributing your weight in your hands. If it feels like you're dumping all the weight into your wrists, maybe take a shift forward. You really push into the thumb and the index fingers. Press into those base knuckles and a little gentle grip of the mat. Also a place to check in with the core, getting nice and strong here. Tapping into the victorious ujjayi pranayama. And then lift your hips, drop your head, downward facing dog. When I say drop your head, bringing the ears between the biceps, maybe shifting the gaze to your toes, your knees, or maybe even towards your navel. But using the hands to push the weight up the back into the hips. On the exhale, allow the stretch to come down the back side of your legs. And your heels may or not be touching. That's okay. This is the first time we're here. You might want to pedal out the feet, bicycle out the legs. But really allowing that stretch to happen in the heels, pushing towards the heels, drawing the navel in. Let's come to the tippy toes, put a bend in the knees, make your way to the top of your mat. We're going to do a couple sun A's. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, rise up to standing. And then exhale your hands to heart center. Inhale, arms go high. We'll take this one breath, one movement in the vinyasa practice. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back to plank. Lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Give yourself 5 nice, long, deep breaths here. Tapping into the breath. Checking in with your body. Noticing what points of the body are grounded on the earth. Finish your 5th exhale and travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Feel that length in your spine. We're not rounding or arching. And then exhale, fold in. Now round out. Let something go. Inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do that again. I'll call it out in Sanskrit this time, okay? So inhale, reaching up. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step back and lower, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, urdhva mukha, svanasana. Exhale, adho mukha, svanasana. For 5 breaths, that's 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold in, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise to standing. And exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Tadasana or Samastitihi. All right, one more time. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, folding. Inhale, half lifting. Exhale, step back and lower. Inhale, lifting through the heart. Exhale, lifting through the hips. 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Come to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do a sun B variation flow. We'll start in utkatasana. It's fierce pose. Some people call it chair pose, where you bend and you reach down and then you reach up. This is your utkatasana. So you're sinking down through the tailbone. You're not pushing the butt out. You're pulling the butt in and feeling this work happen in the quads, feeling the work happen in the core, and feeling the length through the torso. Let's add a twist. Right arm forward, left arm back. Inhale back through center and up. Exhale, twist to the other side. Inhale, back up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step your left foot to the back of your mat, grounding your right heel. Squaring off the hips with the front end of the mat, so you're pulling the right hip back, pulling the left hip forward, maybe coming up to your hips first. And then bringing the arms overhead. Again, your drishti, your gaze could be forward or up. Just take that nice length here. Let's sweep the arms behind us in a grounded warrior. So you're pressing into your back heel, drawing the shoulder blades together and leaning forward. That leaning forward is preparing us to take flight into an airplane pose. Gently step into your right leg, lift your left. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your hands down. Step your left foot to the back of your mat, followed by your right. You can take a vinyasa. And back to down dog. 5 breaths. Again, a vinyasa is the practice of placing breath with movement, but it's also the 3 connecting poses, if you will, between doing the right side and the left side. It's the chaturanga, up dog, and down dog. Okay, so finish your 5th exhale, come to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Then your knees, drop your hips, maybe the toes kiss, maybe the knees kiss, your utkatasana, fierce pose. This time we're going to interlace the hands overhead, drawing the biceps back by the ears, feel a nice stretch to the shoulders. And then lower the arms behind us, interlacing the hands at the low back. Feel that nice stretch to the spine. And then exhale, forward fold. Okay, legs can be straight or bent. Just let the belly kind of drape over the thighs. Okay, release your hands down to the earth. You're going to step your right foot to the back of your mat, grounding through both heels, squaring off the hips with the short end of your mat. Maybe come to your hands to your hips first. So pull the left hip back, the right hip forward. We're not arching the back and sticking the chest and butt out. Keep that nice alignment we have in our fierce pose. Reach the arms up, warrior A. And then sweep your arms behind you in your grounded warrior. Some call this grounded airplane, which is a good cue because we're coming into airplane from here, which is also called warrior 3. So step into your front foot and lift your back. And try and level off your hips for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your hands down, step your right foot to the back, followed by the left. Take your vinyasa, your chaturanga dandasana, upward facing and downward facing dog. Nice deep breath. We're going to do that again. Maybe in a little different bit of a way. Just listen to my cueing. Make your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Bend your knees, drop your hips, Utkatasana. We're reaching those arms up, take the twists to the right. Inhale the arms up, take the twist to the left. Inhale the arms up, sink one breath deeper, and then fold in. Inhale, half lift. This time we're going to take a chaturanga right here instead of just stepping the foot back. And from downward facing dog, step the right foot forward, left heel ground. Bring yourself up, warrior A. Exhale, sweep the arms back, grounded warrior. Lift off into your warrior 3 or airplane for 5, 4, 3, 2. Don't come down on 1. Bring your hands to heart center on 1. We take a little Shiva squat here. So tucking the left knee behind the right, checking in with your balance and strength. And then place your hands on the ground. Step back to Vinyasa. And downward facing dog. Stepping your left foot forward. Square off the hips. Warrior A. Grounded warrior. Lift off. Airplane pose for warrior 3, for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, bring your hands to heart center. Take a little squat, a little Shiva squat, tucking the right knee behind the left. Bring your hands down to the earth. Step your right foot back, followed by your left, and Vinyasa. Big inhale on the up dog. Big exhale on the down dog. Let's come to the tippy toes, put a bend in the knees, make your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Bend your knees, drop your hips, sweep the arms up, Utkatasana. This time we interlace the hands overhead, sweeping the arms back. Lower the arms behind us, pulling the shoulders down. Keeping the bend in the knees, bring the belly to the thighs, fold forward. You could play with straightening the legs. Release the hands down to the earth. Step the right foot back, followed by the left. Adho Vinyasa to downward facing dog. Take a couple nice deep breaths here. In fact, let's come to child's pose here. We're going to let both of those flows go. We're going to do one more flow, a standing flow with some warrior poses. If you have a sip of water, you can do that. If you really want to take some rest, it's my favorite thing to use in child's pose, I'm not going to lie. Bringing it through here and just letting yourself soften in. If you don't have this, that's okay. You could use a couch cushion. You could even use a couple pillows off your bed. If you have a block, you could rest your forehead. There's no have-tos. Just find something where you can rest in, soften in, check in with your breath. If it feels like the breath has gotten short and choppy, we could have been like holding your breath, maybe not on purpose, but just subconsciously. Sometimes when we hold a pose, we may instinctually, if we're new to the practice, try and hold the breath. We want to get into the deep rhythmic inhales and exhales so we can tap into our parasympathetic nervous system and invite the calm into our day after the chaotic, if you will. Making your way back up to your tabletop pose. This time we're going to wave the right arm up to the sky, Thread it underneath the left. Lean into your right shoulder and let your right cheek or right temple rest on the earth. You can keep your left hand right here. If you want more of a stretch, you could reach it out in front of you and help push the hips back. If you want more of a twist, you could place your hand on your low back. All right, today this stretch feels good to me, so this is where I'm going to hang out for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. With the left hand underneath the left shoulder, wave the right arm back up and bring the right hand down. Let's try that on the other side. So inhaling the left arm up, thread it through, lean into it, fold into it. Maybe a twist would feel good, or bringing the hand out long in front of you. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the right hand under, wave the left arm up, and bring it down to meet the right. Let's curl the toes, hover the knees, just to check back in with our core, our center, our third chakra, our solar plexus, a space, this energy center in our body with self-worth, our own power, determination comes from here. Why did you step on your mat? Honor that right here. Breathe deeply. And then lift the hips. Find your downward facing dog. All right, lifting your right leg to the earth. Just lift it high enough where you can see the foot. We're not trying to open the hip. We're trying to keep them level. And draw the knee in towards your nose as you place your right foot up between your hands. And if it doesn't land there, go ahead and pick it up and put it there. All right, we want a lot of space between our front foot and our back foot. We want to find that 90-degree angle behind the knee. As we're building the muscles, we also want to support the muscles around the joints and protect our joints. Maybe even just coming up in a low lunge to your fingertips first. Find that space. And then inhale your way up to a high lunge, a crescent warrior. Some nice deep breaths here. Spinning your left heel down, but keeping your right foot put, we're going to open the arms up to warrior 2. Virabhadrasana 2. All right, so the torso is centered over the hips. We're not leaning forward. We're not leaning back. We're finding that place in between. And if it feels like you're leaning forward, you probably are. Just place your hand on your hip. Going to bring it back through center and open the arms back up. Take some nice deep breaths here. Let's flip the right palm over, reverse our warrior, a peaceful warrior, and start to straighten your right leg. This is reverse triangle, also referred to as sky archer. It's really a transition pose for triangle, right? So we've got the body side facing, we've got the legs straight, we've got the arms straight. Now let's bring them out to a T. Reach out over your right fingertips and open yourself up to triangle. Okay, this isn't about reaching the floor. Sometimes we're in a hurry to get down to the floor and we cave over to our chest. If you have a block, you could use a block to help. You could try doing this up against a wall. You could check out an earlier tutorial I did on yoga anatomy where we really look at Utthita Trikonasana. You could let your hand rest on your shin. In the Ashtanga practice, we reach for the big toe. But what you'll notice is nothing about my upper body changed. It just came down lower. I didn't rotate forward. All right, I think we've been in triangle long enough. Let's take a gaze down. Inhale your way up, a little micro bend. Open your arms out to the side. Turn the toes forward. We're going to take a Prasarita Padottanasana, arms out wide. A wide leg forward fold. We lead with the heart with a nice long spine. Right, the hands come down shoulder width apart, and then the head comes down. And the head may not touch. The further away the feet are, the closer the head's going to come to the ground. But you need to be holding in a way that works for you. Right, so easing your way towards some of these poses. All right, one more full round of breath. Walk the hands out so we can lift ourselves up halfway. Gently turn to the left foot. You're in a low lunge on this side, and let's add in a vinyasa here. Right? Making our way to downward facing dog. All right, so we're going to do that flow on the left side. All right, so you're going to lift your left leg. We want to keep the hips level. We're not opening the hips, but stacking them. Look forward, step your left foot up between your hands in a low lunge. And again, if it doesn't land between the hands, pick it up and bring it there. Wiggle the right toes back so you can find that nice 90-degree angle. Okay, maybe come to the fingertips. Find your balance down low. You can come up to a high lunge, crescent warrior. Really breathing here. You're going to spin your right toes out, spin the right heel down, open the arms out to warrior beast. And I've got open hips. Again, if it feels like you're leaning forward, you probably are. See if you can bring yourself through center. Try not to let the shoulders ride up. Bring them down. Breathe here, then flip the front palm over. Reverse your warrior. I notice my gaze went to my right shoulder. It could be up. It feels better on my neck, and it kind of helps remind me to rotate my body to the side when I look out this way. As you straighten your leg, you're setting yourself up for triangle pose with this reverse warrior or reverse triangle sky archer pose. So again, bring the arms out wide. Start to push the right hips back. And here you do want to be leaning forward. And then when you can lead no more, that's where you open up to your triangle. I have a little less mobility in my left leg, so I'm very mindful about that. Sometimes I have a little bit more of a bend in that knee instead of hyperextending it. I probably should be using a block right here. That feels so much better. It just brings the floor up a little higher and it allows you to really explore the Utthita Trikonasana. A little gaze down to bring yourself up to a side-facing T. Arms out wide. This time we're going to interlace the hands behind our low back like we did earlier in our pierce pose, but now the feet are out nice and wide. Slide the hands down, think long spine, and then hinge forward. And as you're hinging forward, you start to let gravity bring the hands off the low back. Maybe they come all the way down to the ground. Maybe they don't. That's okay. This has taken me decades to get here. This is the way my bones are shaped and structured and my level of flexibility. Give yourself another nice full round of breath. And slowly bring the hands to your low back. Release the hands down to the earth. Lift up halfway. Turning to the right. Let's just keep going. Let's not add in a vinyasa here. Let's make this a circular flow. So find the low lunge. Come up to your high lunge. And we'll add in a couple more poses. Right? From here, warrior 2. Let's reverse warrior. This time, instead of finding triangle, we're going to find extended side angle. You're going to bring your right arm to rest on the right thigh. And drawing the left shoulder back, reach the arm forward and out to find your extended side angle. Okay, and we're resting on this right arm to help rotate us to the side. We should be able to pull the arm out, really do anything we want with it. Right? Now let's come to our sky archer. Open it up and find triangle. Your expression. Again, hand could be floating, it could be on the shin. We don't want to push it on the knee, so it could be up on the thigh. But again, we want to protect our joints. And gaze down on your exhale. Inhale your way up. Let's take our nice forward fold. Maybe this time bringing your hands to your hips and drawing your elbows back and leaning forward. If headstand's part of your practice, you could do that here. If it's not, I've got that in a couple other videos, the Ashtanga video, and I'll put a card up for that, a link. I've also got this in the arm balances and headstands. session. And then come back down. Great, lift up halfway, turn to the left. And again, we didn't add on a vinyasa, we just went for it here. So come on up. Start with your low lunge. If you're not balanced in your low lunge, you're slimming your chance of being balanced in the standing flow. Right, and then spin the back heel down, warrior B. And flip your palm, reverse your warrior. Here's what we added on the extended side angle. Just bring your elbow down, draw the right shoulder back. You can sweep it in front of you to open it up. A lot of people come right up this way, which is great. If you sweep it down, you're getting more mobility through the shoulder to get a deeper stretch. Again, mindful that you're not dumping into this elbow, be able to move it. Right, now we straighten the leg, sky archer, and create your triangle. Utthita Trikonasana. Right, come on up to your side facing T. Bring the palms up, any wide leg forward fold of your choice. Maybe this time when we get down here, we're going to take a couple spinal twists. Right, so lifting up halfway, keep your left palm planted. The spine is really long. You're going to wave your right arm up to the sky as you roll the wrists. Bring the right hand down. Wave the left arm up. You let your gaze, your drishti, follow the wrists, follow the fingers. And bring the left hand down. Hold in a little deeper. Bring your hands to your hips as you slowly rise up. And step to the top of your mat. Bring your hands to heart center. Samastitihi. Let's go to the floor. That's a lot of standing. Right, so finding your way. I'll turn this way to face you. Finding your way into Baddha Konasana, or this like seated butterfly pose. Pulling your heels in as close as serves you. If you can and you want to use the Ashtanga toe bind, just grab a hold of the two big toes with your peace fingers and sit up nice and tall. You want a long spine here. We're not reaching back to fold forward. We're reaching forward to fold forward. Now just come to your edge, which is where you feel something happening in your hips and your low back. If it's pain, come out of it, right? And if you'd like, to put a couple couch cushions or pillows or blocks or anything in front of you when you get here. I'm just going to take a couple rounds of breath here. Softening in. In this yin pose, we come to our edge. We commit to stillness. And then we stay for a few breaths. Usually in the full yin practice, we'd stay in a pose like this for anywhere from, a minute to 20 minutes. But so we're just adding this on as part of our vinyasa slow flow. We're just going to stay for about 30 more seconds, so a full minute. Any sensations you're experiencing, just acknowledge. Any thoughts that come up, just acknowledge them. Try not to get attached to them. Just say, well, hello. I'll talk to you later. I'm doing my yoga right now. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently bring yourself up. Remove the blocks. I like to windshield wiper my legs after that one. So closing the book, bringing the feet out to in front of you. I'll turn sideways like this. So you can just letting the legs kind of fall in one direction and then fall in the other. A nice place to go from here with this windshield wiper action is deer pose or reclining deer pose, where so if we're turning the legs to the left and our left hand is behind us, you bring your right hand across, you start to twist to the back of your mat, maybe pulling your left hip in more so it's parallel with the back. If you have a block or if you have a bolster or some pillows, bring it out, press it up against the hip. And then just fold in. Gentle for the hips, a nice twist for the spine. If you're turning your head to the right, we'll just gently turn it to the left. Two more rounds of breath. Just really bringing your head through neutral. Bring your fingertips to the outside of your bolster so your hands will look like this. And just do a couple little chest presses to give yourself time to come up to seated and take this around to the other side. So bringing your hands behind you, let the legs fall to the right. Really could just keep the bolster where it is. Take a peek with your right leg and your right hip. Bring yourself in, fold in. And if your head's turned to the left, turn it to the right. If it was turned to the right, turn it to the left. Just if it was in the center, go ahead and leave it in the center. And 2 more rounds of breath. And then lifting the head and chest to walk your hands in, fingertips pointing in, elbows out. Just take a couple nice little chest dips here, chest lifts. And bring yourself back up to center. All right, from here we're going to move into pigeon pose. Couple options for pigeon pose. If you're new to the practice or you have really tight hips, you may want to come onto your back and cross one ankle over your thigh. You can stay right here. That's a great hip opener. If you want more intensity, you could reach in behind the knee. Just try not to pull on the knee and be right here. If you want to go into full pigeon, really nice way to get into it is from, a lot of people will do down dog and then tap their knee to nose and then bring it through. I do it as well. But one of my favorite ways to get into it is from tabletop, because our hips are already squared off. We're wanting to maintain the hips level. So we're starting off ahead of the game, bringing the knee behind the wrist, wiggling the toes only out as far as feels comfortable for you. Our hips are still level. And then uncurl the back toes, start to use your hands and push the weight towards the leg behind you. It's the weight is staying distributed between the two hips. If you have a block or a pillow that would be more comfortable to put underneath the bent leg, the bent hip, go for it. Otherwise, you'll sit up nice and tall, feel that elongation in the spine, and then walk out. Let your head rest on something. And we won't stay very long today. But if you do want to try this pose longer, again, you could check out my yin, intro to yin video. So 2 more rounds of breath. Just lifting your head, walking your hands underneath your shoulders to sit up nice and tall. And ease your weight into your right hip. And if you're on your back, just bring yourself up to seated. We're going to do the same pose. It's called Janu Shirsasana. So I'll turn and face you. Almost like you're in a tree pose, right? The leg's not out here. That's a different pose. We'll do that in another Vinyasa Flow. But today we're doing Janu, so you're pulling everything in, reaching the arms up, and you're turning your belly button towards your big toe. So we're not coming between the legs. We want to make sure that the hips are square and we're elongating out. Right? So you're leading with your chest. And if that's as far as the chest goes, that's where the hands drop and the gaze shifts to the big toe. Right? If you can bring yourself in a little further, you're bringing your chest towards your thigh, you're bringing your knee towards your nose. or your nose towards your knee, either one. Janu Sirsasana is head to knee pose. We'll give it 4 breaths more. 3, 2, and 1. Come on up. Just bring the right leg out. Give it a little shake out. And then we'll do a pigeon on the other side. So just cross your ankles, roll onto your hands and knees in tabletop. We'll shift directions. Again, if you're doing this on your back, come to your back and cross the left ankle over the right thigh. If you want more, pull the right knee in. If you're with me, start in tabletop. Slide the left knee behind the left wrist, wiggle the toes out to the right. Now if it feels like you're starting to lean to the left, so you can center yourself back up between the 2 hips, pushing the weight to the long leg behind you, and then walk yourself out, letting your head rest on something. It could be your hands, a block, a pillow. It's kind of sending that signal to your brain that, hey, you don't have to hold me up here, body. Let's let gravity pull us in and enjoy releasing that tension. We'll stay here for just a few more breaths. So breathe in deeply. Breathe out completely. Lift your head, bring your hands underneath your shoulders to lift yourself up. If you're on your back, you'll roll up to seated. If you're with me, you're swinging your leg around, setting up for Janu Sirsasana. Again, I'll do it from the side here. So you can see we're not going between the legs. We're going towards this leg. So the more you can pull it in towards and like kind of press your left foot into the right thigh, the more you're going to be pulling everything into your center. Lengthen up. So we're not leaning back to find the foot. We're leaning forward. So lead with your chest. If this is as far as you go, then you just stop your hands and you keep the leaning action. Sometimes people will just like drop in right here. All right. See if you can keep reaching. Shift the gaze of the toes. The more you work with this pose, the more flexibility you'll find and create as you move your way to Janu Sirsasana. We'll stay for 3 more breaths. 2 and 1. Come on up. Take your left leg out to meet your right. Get a little gentle shake out. We are ready for Shavasana. So if you have a blanket, I didn't bring a blanket out today. You're welcome to grab it. We're going to gently roll onto our backs. We just hug the knees into your chest. Make some small circles with your low back. And extend your right foot to the right front corner of your mat, left to left. Letting the arms come down to your side. Lifting the palms to the sky. Maybe shimmying the shoulder blades together underneath you. So the highest thing on your mat is your heart. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, let everything soften into your mat. Take one more big inhale. A cleansing exhale. Just giving yourself the time, the space, the grace to let go. Maybe check in, do a body scan. Keep your eyes closed. I'll just kind of talk you through it. Check in with your toes, your ankles and feet. Just let them flop open in a relaxed state. Check in with your shins and calves. Let them melt into your mat. Bring your awareness up to your knees and the back of your knees. Your thighs, your quads, the back of your thighs, your hamstrings. Up into your glutes. Take a big inhale. Exhale, let all that soften in your hips, your pelvis, your low belly, your low back, the middle part of your back, your upper back, your thoracic spine. Take a big inhale. Feel that expansion as you exhale. Feel it soften. Your shoulders melting away from your ears. And clenching your jaw. Soft through the back of the head. Unfurling your brow. Tops of your arms. Your elbows. Soften. Backs of your hands. Your fingers. Taking rest. Enjoying the stillness. You're welcome to stay in Shavasana as long as serves you. For now, I'm going to gently call us out of it. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, roll your wrists and ankles. Reach the arms long behind you, a nice big stretch. And draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice big thank you hug. You did it. Yeah. You can gently fall onto your left or right side. Just take a moment, not to hurry, to push yourself up to seated. You bring yourself up slowly. Look at that. Sukhasana, easy pose. Letting your hands rest on your thighs. Feeling grounded through the base of your spine. Long and light through the crown of your head. Placing your palms together at heart center, gently bowing your head. We bow our heads to honor and recognize the light, love, truth, and peace that dwells in each and every one of us. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, eternal peace. Thank you all so much for being here today. Go in peace, and I will see you next time.